So yeah, I totally forgot. I'm okay. I'm good. I just have a little cold. I'm having some reactions though because I took the vaccine on Friday, so I'm not feeling very well. So hi Nayada, good to see you. Yes. So like I was saying, we have a holiday this week, and I totally forgot. So much so that I planned our classes for this week, but then I'll have to change the dates. June 3rd is a holiday. It's Corpus Christi. So we don't have class on Thursday. Only today and then um, next class next week. But anyway, today we are doing page 74 reading. Yeah, that's right, Jonathan. Probably 2024. That's true. Yes, here in Brazil, everything is very slow. Yes, unfortunately. All right, guys. So today we will talk about a nice topic, and I'm super hungry. Delicious ideas. As you can see here, I posted some pictures for you. So you can see that. The first one here, something I love, chocolate chip cookies. Do you like that, guys? Oh, yummy. I'm so hungry. My God. Hi, Nayada. Good morning. Good to see you. So, yeah, chocolate chip cookies. That's so good. I love that. Okay. Let's see the next one here. Hey, that's so good. Do you know that? What do we call these? Popsicles. Yes, very nice. This one here, I think it's raspberry with strawberry or something. So it's a mix of berries, but it looks delicious. Really. Hi, Shayani. Good morning. Hi, Nayada. Good morning. Good to see you. So these are popsicles, and we usually buy those a lot during the summer. Here we have some more popsicles. These ones are kiwi and watermelon. I thought these were so nice. Imagine kiwi and watermelon popsicle. Delicious. Because today we're going to see about the invention of these things. And here we have what we call potato chips. Oh my God, that's really good. Do you like potato chips, guys? Do you know?
Yes.
Yes. Do you know how potato chips were created or invented? Who invented potato chips? That's a good question, right? I love potato chips, especially these ones here. They're so good, aren't they? So, who created, guys, this idea of potato chips? And who created popsicles? Who invented popsicles? Who had this brilliant idea? Oh, let's put this together and let's mix, and then we can put it in the freezer. Was that the way it happened? Who created popsicles in the first place? All right, let's take a look. Let's see that. If you have your books, open your books to page 74. And guys, I was talking to Jonathan before. June 3rd is a holiday. And I totally forgot yesterday when I was planning my classes. I forgot that Thursday is a holiday. So we will not have classes on Thursday. So this one here, I will change later after class. I will edit this page and I will put here for next week, for Tuesday. Okay, guys, probably June 8th. Okay, so let's open our book to page 74, reading, and let's see who created these delicious things that we love so much, right? So if you have your books, please open your books to that page. This is page 74. And by the way, guys, if you don't remember, this is unit 11. Okay, guys, so it's almost the end of the book, right? After the reading, we just have the speaking, and then unit 11 is over. Okay, so um, let's see here. The first one, we have, look at the pictures. What do you know about these foods? So here we have the first picture, yummy, and the second one, yummy too. What do you know about these foods? For example, what's the origin of the popsicle? Who made the first popsicle? Okay, so let me get the audio so we can listen to this text. Okay, just a moment. Okay, so let's try to read and listen so we can find out who created those things. Okay, guys, let me enable the sound. Okay, all right.
Reading. Delicious ideas. The popsicle.
The popsicle was invented in 1905 by an 11-year-old California boy named Frank Epperson. The story goes that Frank, who enjoyed creating new drinks using soda powder and different flavors, mixed a drink and left the concoction outside on the porch. That night, there were record low temperatures, and the next morning, Frank found the mixture with the wooden stirring stick frozen in it. He was delighted. He called it the Epperson icicle. He later renamed it the Epsicle. 18 years later, in 1923, Frank started a business producing Epsicles in 7 fruit flavors. Later, Frank's son George gave it the brand name Popsicle in honor of his pop, or father. These days, there are more than 30 different popsicle flavors. Over 2 billion popsicle products are manufactured and sold every year. Imagine if Frank hadn't left his drink on the porch. We might never have tasted one.
Potato chips.
The potato chip was invented in 1853 by a chef named George Crumb. Crumb worked at a vacation resort in Saratoga Springs, New York. One day, a picky diner complained that the French fries were too thick. Crumb made some more, but the customer still wasn't satisfied. Angrily, Crumb finally sliced a potato as thin as possible and fried the pieces. The customer loved this variation on the French fry and demanded more. Potato chips were invented. Crumb's chips were soon called Saratoga chips. Soon, they were made and sold all over New England. Crumb later opened his own restaurant. Imagine, if the diner hadn't been so fussy and grumbled to the chef, potato chips wouldn't have been invented.
Oh, how nice, wasn't it? Interesting. All right, guys. So let's take a look at the first one here, popsicle. So, how was popsicle invented? First of all, when was it invented? In 1905. Who invented it? An 11-year-old boy from California. His name? Frank Apperson. What happened that he invented a popsicle? So, first, he enjoyed creating new drinks. Sorry. He enjoyed creating new drinks using soda powder, and different flavors. Mixed a drink and left the concoction outside of the porch. Concoction is the same as mixture, okay? Especially when we are talking about a drink. Okay, guys, so a concoction is usually a drink that you mix lots of different things. So he liked doing those things. He liked creating new drinks using soda powder and different flavors. He left, he forgot his concoction outside on the porch. That night, there were record low temperatures, and the next morning, Frank found the mixture with the wooden steering stick frozen in it. So he would use a wooden stick to mix his drink. But since he forgot his drink outside and the temperatures were very low, the, the temperatures froze his drink. So when he found it the next morning, it was an icicle, right? Like he called it, a person icicle, because he has to actually um, take his drink as a popsicle. So he later renamed it the Apsicle after his name because his name is Epperson. So he decided to call the thing Apsicle. 18 years later, in 1923, Frank started a business. So he decided to sell Apsicles in 7 different fruit flavors. Later, his son, George, gave it the brand name Popsicle in honor of his pop or father. So that's interesting because popsicle means the icicle of my father. That's the idea of the word popsicle. My father's icicle or dad's icicle, popsicle, popsicle. That's how it is. Okay. So these days, there are more than 30 different popsicle flavors. Over 2 million, or actually 2 billion, popsicle products are manufactured and sold every year. So imagine if Frank hadn't left his drink on the porch. We might never have tasted the popsicle. Of course, somebody else would have come up with the idea, but that idea was really an accident, right? He didn't really want to create a popsicle. It was just an accident. What about the potato chips? They were invented in 1853 by a chef named George Crumb. But was it something on purpose or was it also an accident? Look, he worked at a vacation resort in Saratoga Springs, New York. One day, a picky diner complained that the french fries were too thick. A picky diner is like, picky is the same as exigente when we are talking about customers, okay? And diner is a person who goes to a restaurant to eat something. So we call the customer a diner, okay? It's like um cliente exigente, okay? A picky diner. He complained. Ele reclamou, ok? Complain is the same as reclamar in Portuguese, all right? So he complained in the past that the French fries were too thick. Thick is the same as grossa, okay? So he complained that the French fries were too thick. And then he returned his dish. The chef, Crumb, made some more, but the customer still wasn't satisfied. Angrily, Crumb finally sliced the potato as thin as possible. Sliced is the same as fatiou, fatiar no passado. So he sliced, he cut really thin, right? He sliced a potato as thin as possible, mais fino possível. Thin is the same as fino ou fina in English. So he was so angry, the chef, because the customer was complaining that he said, okay, now you're going to see my French fries. So he sliced the potato really thin, almost transparent, and then he fried. The customer loved this variation on the French fry and demanded more. So he loved so much that he asked for more. Okay? He demanded more. Demand is a little different from ask. When you ask, you are usually polite. When you demand, it's like exige. Demand is the same as exigir. And here it's in the past, okay? So ele exigiu, okay? So he demanded more because he loved the variation, right? Potato chips were invented because of a customer that was complaining about his French fries being too thick. So he provoked the chef. So the chef sliced the potato thinner and thinner until he reached the point of potato chips. Crumb's chips were soon called Saratoga chips. So that dish became really famous and popular in the area. Everybody knew the chips by Saratoga chips. That was the real name of the first potato chips. Soon they were made and sold all over New England. New England is near New York. Crumb later opened his own restaurant. You see, he sold so many potato chips that he opened his own restaurant. Imagine if the diner hadn't been so fussy and grumbled to the chef, potato chips wouldn't have been invented. So here they're talking about the customer again. If the diner, the customer, hadn't been so fussy, fussy is the same as picky, it's a synonym. It means exigente, enjoado, okay? So if the diner hadn't been so fussy and grumbled to the chef, grumbled is a synonym to complained here. Reclamou muito, right? Grumbled to the chef, potato chips wouldn't have been invented. So the situation provoked the creation or the invention of potato chips, right? And that was in 1853. The name of the chef, George Crumb. Where was it? New York, Saratoga Springs. Hey guys. All right, now let's see number two. What do these inventions have in common? Choose the correct answer. The first one here says both are desserts. No, that's not correct. That's not correct. Because dessert is usually something you eat after a meal, something sweet, usually, like pudding or ice cream or something like that, a dessert. And this is not true. The first one can be considered a dessert, but here, no, the second one isn't a dessert. Okay? Both were invented in the 1800s. No, only the potato chips, not the popsicle. The popsicle was invented in 1905, beginning of the 20th century. Okay, so number two is the correct one. Both were invented by accident. This is what they have in common. Okay, now let's answer some more questions here. Which was invented first? Popsicles or potato chips? Now it's easy.
Potato chips.
Yes, very good. Potato chips. Very good. Potato chips. How did each person feel when he created his invention? Do they mention that? How they felt? They were both accidents, right? Just like the creation of Coca-Cola. Do you know about Coca-Cola? Coca-Cola was also something casual. The guy was creating a medicine and then he decided to transform his concoction into a soft drink. So Coca-Cola had a similar story. I don't know if it was really an accident, but it was something like I think the medicine didn't work very well, and then he tried that medicine as a soft drink, and then he created Coca-Cola, right? Or Coke. So now here, how did the person feel? That's kind of weird. How did the first person feel? Let's say he enjoyed creating new drinks. That's for sure. He really enjoyed. So he was in the beginning here. Look, he was delighted. He called it the Epsom cycle icicle. When he saw that his drink was frozen, he was a kid. He was only 11. So he was like, "Oh, look." So, excuse me, guys. So he was super delighted, of course. Now, what about George Crumb? George Crumb was angry, I think. The first feeling he had, excuse me, guys, again. He was super angry because the guy was there. The customer was there complaining about his food. And so he was cutting the potato. So one was delighted, the other was angry. We can put it this way. Okay. Delighted people is very happy. Okay. Just so you know. George Crumb was angry, but the boy was delighted. What names were these inventions given over the years? So let's see. What names did they receive over the years? So first, he renamed the first one, the popsicle, was first the Epperson cycle. This was the first name, okay? So let me highlight that for you. The first name that he gave as a young boy was, oh, this is the Epperson icicle. Then later he renamed it the Apsicle. Now 18 years later, it became Popsicle because his son Frank, I mean George's son Frank. Oh no, man, Frank's son George. So his son George, look, he renamed the Apsicle Popsicle in honor of his pop or father. Okay, pop means father. So over the years, it changed 3 times, as I can see here. Epperson icicle, Apsicle, and then Popsicle. Now, what about the last one here? The potato chips. First, they were called French fries because this is what the customer wanted, French fries. But then the chef, fried the pieces and sliced them thinner and thinner. And then first they were called Saratoga chips. That was the first name of the invention. This is how he became known. And then after that, potato chips. Okay. But first, the Saratoga chips. Because they were invented in Saratoga. Okay. So let's see the names here. What names were these inventions given over the years? So let's write it down. First, the Epperson icicle. Let's put it capital letter. Then after that, Apsicle. I think it's absicle. Let me see. Yes, the absicle, and then finally the popsicle. Okay. And then the potato chips. First, they were called the Saratoga chips. Nowadays, potato chips. And there are many different brands. We have Elma chips by PepsiCo. There are Lay's, right? Now many different brands of potato chips. Okay, guys. So, final question. Do you think the people in the article were smart or lucky? Why? Here we have an example. I think Frank Epperson was just lucky. He wasn't even trying to invent anything. So, what do you think? Lucky or smart? To me, they were just lucky because they weren't even thinking about anything. Yeah, first it was a boy, and then when he grew older, he had his own business selling popsicles. His son took over and continued his business, and his son became really successful selling popsicles. Now, the potato chips, the chef from Saratoga, he was just lucky because he was extremely annoyed. Yeah, the customer was complaining. No, they're too thick. No, too thick. And so he kept slicing thinner and thinner until he reached the point that is now considered potato chips. But first, so both of them were really lucky, in my opinion. Weren't they? Yeah, super lucky. They weren't really meaning to do anything. And of course, after that, they became rich. Their families became rich because of the invention. Okay, guys. So we are done with this page. Let's see, guys, the writing task. Okay, I will just clear my annotations. Can I clear the annotation here? Here. Let me organize this one here. I think there is a. I think I forgot something there. Yes, now it's okay. Icicle, absicle, popsicle. Then the Saratoga chips and potato chips. All right, guys. Can I clear the annotations? Yes?
Yes.
Okay, good. All right. Let's take a look, people, at the writing task. This is on page 113. I posted a copy of the writing task for you on the Google Classroom page. Okay, so let's take a look there so you know what you're going to talk about. Here. There you go. Look. Read the magazine article about chocolate chip cookies. Delicious. Then write a description of an invention you know about. Try to include the following information. So let's put there here. So this is what you're going to do. Write a description of an invention you know about. Can be ice cream, can be chocolate, maybe. So you should put when it was invented, who invented it, why it was invented, and how things would be different without the invention. So let's take a look here. How chocolate chip cookies were invented. If Ruth Wakefield hadn't tried to improve on a traditional cookie recipe, we wouldn't have chocolate chip cookies today. As you can see, guys, they are using examples of the third conditional there. Okay, let me highlight for you. Look, if, and then we have past perfect. Chocolate chip cookies were accidentally invented at the Toll House Inn in the 30s. The owners, Kenneth and Ruth Wakefield, provided meals to their guests. One day, as Ruth prepared a batch of cookies, she cut a chocolate bar into tiny pieces to add to the dough. Dough is the same as massa, okay? When you're baking a cake, when you're making a cake or making a cookie, dough is the same as massa. She had expected the chocolate pieces to melt into the dough, but instead they simply softened. Her cookies became popular at the end, and eventually her recipe was published in several newspapers. Okay, so Kenneth and Ruth Wakefield, the owners of this inn. Guys, the Toll House Inn was a kind of pousada or hotel, okay? Or instalagem, like they call in English. So Toll House was the name of a pousada. Okay? That's why we call inn, right? The owners, os proprietários, okay? The owners, Kenneth and Ruth Wakefield, provided meals to their guests. So they prepared meals. And then Ruth, the wife, prepared a batch of cookies. She cut a chocolate bar into tiny pieces to add to the dough. So she had this idea, let's put some chocolate in the dough. Let's see what happens. Probably the chocolate will melt and the dough will become all chocolate. It will be delicious. Chocolate cookies. But no, instead of melting, the chocolate chips just became softer. They didn't melt. So you see how nice, guys. That was really good. And then he came up with chocolate chip cookies. Perfect. Her cookies became popular at the inn, so na pousada, okay? Her cookies became very popular, and eventually her recipe was published in several newspapers. Her recipe is the same as a receita dela, okay? So all newspapers wanted to have the recipe. Of course, when you make something good in the kitchen, a lot of people want the recipe, right? Oh, please, can you give me the recipe? Because they want to do it. They want to try it too. So, but imagine this was in the 30s, beginning of the 20th century. So we didn't have internet to post the recipe. So they had to send the recipe via newspapers. Okay, they had to publish the recipe in the newspapers. There was no Pinterest or Ana Maria Braga, nothing like that. No websites for cooking. So in the past, this is how things went. If we wanted a recipe, we had to write a letter to ask for the recipe. Okay, guys. So that was the writing task. For next class, you can do something similar about another thing that you like. It can be something related to food if you wish, and you should write a description of this invention and say what you know about it, who invented, when it was invented, okay, who had this idea. All right, people. So let's go back there to page 74. Wow, I'm tired. I am really tired. Okay, guys. So back to our text today. This was our reading assignment. Okay, guys, we are done with this page. And for homework, you can do this writing here, okay, on page 113. And also, you can do the worksheets I posted on Google Classroom. Let me try to take you there just a second. Can you see that? Yes, can you see the page on Google Classroom? So here I posted the writing task and I posted something about the third conditional. So here you have it. Look, third conditional, we have if clause and then the main clause, just to show you how it goes. So here they will explain the two different clauses. All right, people. They will give some examples and then you have to complete the sentence using the third conditional, okay? Example, if I had worked harder, I might have made more money. If I had worked harder, I might have made more money. If team had bought a new car, if team had bought a new car, what can we put here? He wouldn't. I would just do one for an example, okay, guys? He wouldn't have crashed because of his bad brakes. Okay, guys, brake is the same as freio. Okay, so if he had bought a new car, he wouldn't have crashed because of his bad brakes. Okay, and so you go here, you can create the sentence, you can create a situation. All right, people, no problem. Can I clear this? Yes, okay, I'll clear that. Okay, people, this is the homework. We have no class on June 3rd. Okay, let's take a picture before we go. Is there anybody missing? Hey, where is Jonathan? Oh man, just a second. Let me. So, girls, just reviewing the homework for next class. It's going to be the writing task, page 113, and the worksheets I posted here, okay? This one here, the third condition, is just an image to help you. Here we have the exercises, and here we have the worksheet with the explanation for you to do. Okay, girls, I have to go because I'm not feeling well. All right, sorry about that. Remember, Next Thursday is a holiday, so we don't have class on June 3rd, okay? I will change this later. All right, girls. But I really have to go because I'm not feeling well, okay? All right, bye bye, Nayara. Bye bye, Jayani. See you. Take care.
Bye.
Bye, guys. Thank you.